How do you know it's going to rain tomorrow? Because the weather forecast says 90% rain tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, but 10%. Like, let's not get rid of the kayaks yet. I don't look like Brad Pitt. I don't look like Tom Cruise. Your uniqueness is your value.
I'm Rachel Martin, and this is Wild Card, the show where cards control the conversation. My guest this week is John C. Reilly. John C. Reilly has range. Whether it's going to comedic extremes with Will Ferrell in Step Brothers or Talladega Nights, or singing about unrequited love as Amos Hart in the musical Chicago, John C. Reilly can really do it all. But lots of actors have range, right? What makes him special is that he also has heart. John lays it all out for his audiences. We come for his talent, but we stay for his empathy. All of it shows up in his most personal creative venture yet, a vaudeville stage show called Mr. Romantic. I'm so very happy to welcome John C. Reilly to Wild Card. Hi.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
First round, memories. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get into it. First three cards, 1, 2, or 3?
2.
2. What does your birth order say about you?
Oh, interesting. Well, I come from a family of 6, so I'm the 5th of 6.
Ah.
Which kind of makes me a middle kid. The classic. A lot of actors are middle kids, actually, believe it or not.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's almost like a cliche among actors, because the older one gets too much attention, or the older one gets too much correction. The youngest gets too much, gets spoiled.
Freedom?
And the middle one's like, hey, what about me? Like, I'm here too. And it kind of creates extroverts, I guess, or something.
Are you very different from your siblings?
Yeah. I'm the only person who's an actor. I'm the only person who's like in the arts. But I do remember being a kid, like my older brothers and older sisters got so much like attention and correction about what they were doing, who they were seeing, the clothes they were wearing. And my younger brother was just kind of swaddled all the time and, not spoiled, but like kind of doted on,
Yeah.
And I actually felt lucky to be like just sort of left alone.
Flying under the radar.
Yeah, because I would do that. Like my older brothers would get in a lot of trouble for being juvenile delinquents, but I was a juvenile delinquent too. But because they were getting in so much trouble, it's kind of like people didn't notice what I was doing. So as long as I didn't get brought home by the police, I could kind of operate in secret.
And I read, you started doing musicals when you were really little, like musical theater, right? Do you remember the first time you raised your hand and were like, I think this is something I want to do?
Yeah, I was 8 years old and started to go to there's this park near my house that had like programs for kids after school, woodworking and ballroom dance and drama, or we used to call it drama because I'm from the south side of Chicago and that's how we used to talk. But I'll be like, Mom, I'm going to drama class. And I would go over and there were these people who teach kind of basically improv classes. And I remember this first teacher I had named Jim Morley, who kind of ran the thing at the park. And he's like, okay, everyone, the first thing we did was like, he was kind of like get us into our bodies and whatever, getting expressive. And he's like, everyone lay down on the ground. Now I want you to imagine you're a piece of bacon in a pan, right? And the pan is cold right now. Now I'm going to turn up the heat. And what happens when the bacon starts? And everyone's like, and I'm looking around the room like, oh my God, I found my people. This is it. These are the people I understand who want to pretend to be pieces of bacon.
Convulsing like bacon, yes.
Yeah, or just like complete flights of imagination. Like that's what I was into as a kid. I was like already that way,
Yeah.
Yeah, musicals taught me how to be an actor. That because where I grew up on the south side of Chicago, there like no one was doing Shakespeare or Ibsen or people weren't. No one wanted to see like just straight dramatic plays. Everything had to have some music in it, So I did everything from Brigadoon to The Bells Are Ringing to just The King and I, Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
So that was my training ground, and then. I think you mentioned the musical Chicago that I did on the movie musical, and so I went to acting school in Chicago, the Goodman School of Drama it was called then. It's called the Theater School at DePaul University now. And when I got there, I was like, okay, no more musicals. you're a serious actor now, you know. Right. I want to be like Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and Gene Hackman, you know. Those guys don't do musicals, you know. Like, I'm going to be a serious actor. And then you know, I started acting in movies and stuff, and still very interested in music and playing the guitar and singing privately, you know. And then that movie Chicago came along, and I realized, like, oh my God, like, not only is this worth doing, and not only do serious actors do this, but you have to be very talented to pull this off. To be someone that can do dramatic work and to do musicals, it takes a certain skill set that not everyone has, you know? And I realized, like, the American musical theater is one of the few original art forms America has. You know, we have jazz, blues, and musical theater. You know, everything else, opera, ballet, you know, all that stuff, music hall stuff, that all came from England and Europe, you know. But we created this crazy thing called the musical, the stage musical, and so it made me really proud, and it made me realize, like, no, this is right in your wheelhouse, and you should do this. Yeah. And you shouldn't be embarrassed about it. Like, this is a beautiful way to express yourself as an actor.
Next 3. 1, 2, or 3?
3.
What's an early experience of appreciating beauty?
An early experience of appreciating beauty. Well, when I was in 7th grade in Chicago public school, I went to a boys' Catholic high school, but for grammar school, as we called it, I went to a Chicago public school, and it was there wasn't a lot of art or arts in the school. You know, we didn't do plays, and we didn't really, you know, we'd kind of have art period or where we could just, you know, I remember all my friends thinking, like, oh, John's creative, have him draw the picture of the card for the teacher, you know, like, I was like, okay. I just liked the attention, you know, yeah, sure, I can do it. And I was actually a terrible artist, you know, I was not good at drawing. I still have about a 4th grade, you know, skill level for drawing. But,
nailing those stick figures, yeah.
But they had this incredible program in Chicago. They brought this woman once a week to my class in 7th grade from the Art Institute of Chicago.
Wow.
And she was this beautiful, tall, blonde woman who was really elegant and well-dressed and really kind-hearted. And she taught us about Mondrian and Picasso and all of the thinking that went behind the art. You know, like, why did they start doing it? What is this impressionistic paint? Why did someone decide to paint like this? Is it because they were squinting when they were looking at, you know, like, or whatever? And we discuss it, and then we'd each of you are going to do your own Mondrian. You know, and we'd sort of copy in our own way what the painting was like. But it was the first time I realized, like, you know, art is important. And that woman was like a messenger from another universe. Really, like, living in a working class neighborhood on the south side of Chicago, someone like that just drifting in from the Art Institute to tell you that art is important. And this is why it's important. And this is what it means. Like, it was really the first moment where I was like, whoa, oh my God, like this is what I care about. I don't care about geometry. I care about this. Or actually, you know, you could learn a lot about geometry through art. And my teacher in that class actually was a really great guy too, named Mr. Brandstetter. And Mr. Brandstetter wore a tie every day. He wore a shirt with cuffs every day with beautiful cufflinks. And he was very kind of like courtly and like, anyway, he was this incredible guy. And the best teacher I had from kindergarten to 8th grade by far, you know, because all the rest of them kind of like, they would just try to figure out what to do with me. What is we going to do with this kid? And I ended up being sent out in the hall a lot or sent to the principal or like, I was just considered like a discipline problem, you know, like, but Mr. Brandstetter just saw me like, no, this is someone who has potential, you know, like I just have to find the right way to talk about things to get them interested.
Okay. 3 more. 1, 2, or 3?
1.
What period of your life do you often daydream about?
I daydream a lot.
Do you? You're a
yeah.
daydreamer? I am too.
And I have a very good memory. So I remember, I think about my childhood a lot. I tell stories about my childhood a lot. And I lived in that neighborhood I'm describing was a really crazy neighborhood. First of all, it's one of the most racially intense places in the whole world in the late 1970s. Black and white, like the neo-Nazi thing started in Chicago in my neighborhood. So it was this intense place. And then every family had 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. And so there was just, the streets were just full of these wild hooligans, like I was one of them, but I was a little more sensitive than most people. So it was kind of a jungle out there. But as a result, you have all these incredible stories, these capers that happened or these things that my brothers did or like, so, when it came time, I remember when it came time to write Step Brothers with Will Ferrell and Adam McKay, almost all the things that happened to my character in that movie happened to me when I was like a kid. And so I would just, our writing process for that movie was just mining stories. And there's just so many from my childhood that I remember. Like, it wasn't the kindest place to grow up, I don't think. But I had a lot of freedom and a lot, like I could just kind of, I remember where I grew up in my neighborhood in Chicago, I had 35 first cousins within a 10-block area of where I lived. So I would leave the house at in the summertime anyway, I would leave the house at 9 in the morning and go find my cousin Mike. And then we would just wander around the neighborhood all day long until 10 o'clock at night and come home. And my mom would be like, "Where have you been?" I was like, "I don't know. I went to Grandma's, and then I was at Aunt Lillian's, and then and I would, if I got hungry, I would stop in and have some toast with Grandma, and that was my day every day. So I had a very independent life,
Yeah.
We would I remember getting on the bus with my friends. We would get on a bus and buy a transfer. It was called, this piece of paper which you could get one bus and get on another bus, and they'd punch it or whatever. And we'd take the bus from my neighborhood on the south side all the way to downtown Chicago. And I was 11, 12 years old. And we'd just wander around downtown Chicago by ourselves.
It's laughable now. Yeah.
We'd go into the John Hancock Center, which was this huge building, the tallest building in the world at the time, I think. And we didn't have money to take the tour to go up to the observation deck, but you could get on the elevator. And we'd go to this elevator to the 100th floor of this building. And then I remembered just riding that, they'd get to the top and they'd be like, "Where are your tickets?" Like, "Oh, my mom forgot them." And then we'd go back down. But then when the elevator was going down, we'd leap into the air. So you'd be free fall for a second, on this super high speed elevator. Anyway, yeah. So
that's a good time.
Yeah. I had a pretty wild childhood compared to the way, I don't know if the world is more dangerous or we're just more careful, but it's a different world for kids now.
Both, yeah. Before we start round 2, let's pull back from the game and talk about your creative life, which is a very full creative life. But I want to start with Mr. Romantic because this is such a lovely thing you made. This is a throwback stage show, vaudeville, very personal to you. How did it come to be? You've been doing it for a few years now, we should say that.
Yeah, we're doing it for about 4 years now. We've grown it really slowly. We started doing it really only in one place in Los Angeles. Now we've done it all over the world, but almost all out of the world, out of the country anyway. So I did that movie Chicago, which we talked about a little bit earlier, and I played this character, Mr. Cellophane. I got so much attention for that role. I was nominated for an Oscar. I rediscovered my love of the American musical. I realized I think I'm really good at this kind of performing, and I should do this more.
Stage, on a stage,
yes,
with an
very
audience.
Performative,
and music.
Reaching out to the audience, trying to connect directly with the audience, as opposed to, dramatic acting can be a little bit you hold back a little bit and you make them come to you, when you're Mr. Cellophane, your heart is on your sleeve, you're out there, and music has this incredible way of connecting with audiences where you kind of skip people's brains. You just go straight into their heart, If you can move someone, and there's something about the alchemy of music. It's not just the words that you sing in a song, but the arrangement of the notes themselves. You go from an A to a C to an F back to the A. It means something to human beings when they hear that. It affects them in this other way that we don't even really understand. Maybe it has to do with our memories of music we've heard in the past, or maybe it's just some kind of vibrational thing that human beings react to. Why do we still remember Amazing Grace? There's just something about the arrangement of those notes. What is it that keeps a song alive over all this time? So anyway, I'm digressing a bit.
I feel that. I have to tell you, I do feel that with that song, Mr. Cellophane. We should just say, for people who haven't seen Chicago, Amos Hart is this character. He's just unrequited love. He loves Roxy. She doesn't love him back, and he feels like he's not seen by the world. And so this song, Mr. Cellophane, it is heartbreaking. It's one of the most heartbreaking performances I've ever seen. I love that performance.
Thank you. I was in the hands of some great songwriters, the guys who wrote that show. Incredible. Anyway, it's a song about being seen or not being seen.
There is such vulnerability.
And I thought, wouldn't it be great to go on tour as Mr. Cellophane? And I thought, well, he has like 1.5 songs. That's going to be a short show. So I should start collecting songs that would fit in that character's voice. And I remember one of the first ones I heard was the Irving Berlin song, What'll I Do? And that's on the album. I came out with an album from the songs from Mr. Romantic last year in June, and I collected that one. Oh, that's a good one. All right, now I've got 2. Even though we don't do Mr. Cellophane in the Mr. Romantic show, and it took me something like 25 years of collecting songs and thinking back, I got to do that Mr. Romantic thing. I've got to do it. And then one day I had finished this big job that I was stuck on for a long time, much longer than I ever thought it would be because of COVID. I was on this TV show for like 4 years or something, and it was supposed to be 2 years. Anyway, I was really anxious to number one, feel free on stage again and just feel like I can say whatever I want. I can sing the songs I want to sing. I can connect to the audience in the way that I want to. I can improvise. But also, what can I do about the way things are right now? And I became increasingly alarmed over the years at the lack of empathy in our culture and this kind of snarky attitude that developed, been there, done that. So the internet has really done a number on us all in that way. And I thought, we're really losing our way. Why don't people understand, other people have value just for being a human being? We're really losing our humanity here. And what can I do about that? I've never been great at picket signs, and I know how to be an actor. That's the one thing that I committed to in my whole life. And I thought, well, I'll put together a show that's about loving. That's about being loved or wishing you were in love or trying to find someone to love. I'm going to sing all these love songs, and that's the kind of message of the show. He's this kind of mythical character, comes out of a steamer trunk at the beginning of the show and says, I don't know what happened before. All I know is that I have to stay in that box. And when I come out of the box, I have to put on a show. And I don't have to go back into the box if I can find one person who will love me forever. And so in between the songs, I go out and I meet people. Yeah, I meet men and women and whatever, and I say, I'm not gay or straight, I'm desperate. I have to find someone, Yeah. And what the show does, and I got to tell you, I'm not bragging when I say this because it's just a fact. The show works 100% of the time. It's incredible the need out there for people to feel like, oh, we're just going to talk about love for 90 minutes. We're just going to assume the best of each other, and we're going to, try to help this guy find love.
So when you say it works, what does that mean?
It works. It works, and it's not like
real?
You don't see people sitting back and all right, whatever. Because I talk to people. I'm out there, and what it does when I say this is my mission, to see you and to try to fall in love with one of you. It suddenly brings everyone into the same place together. We have these 90 minutes together.
Yeah.
And it really, really works. The audience really, really loves it. And I hope it moves the needle 500, 600 people at a time. But it's given my life meaning. I don't need to make any more money or get more famous or, I just decided, what can I do with my time that I think gives back to the world, which has given me so much. Audiences have given me so much. They've given me a life. you know? So what can I
Yeah.
give back? And like, how can I make this all mean something to me? You know,
Yeah.
like, because you play characters as an actor and like, sometimes it's really meaningful and sometimes you're just kind of imagining yourself to be another person. But like, there's a depth to the connection that happens in this show that is undeniably meaningful. Yeah.
So can I ask something selfish then? If we were at the show and you identified me as a person that you were going to sing to, what would you sing to me? And can you
Well, it
sing a
would
little
depend
bit
on
of
our
it now?
interaction because all
Oh,
that's
really?
improvised. The whole show is almost, other than the songs, the whole show is improvised. So I go out and I'm like, "Hi, what's your name?" And you say your name, and
I'm
yeah,
Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. That's a beautiful sweater. Thank you for
Thanks.
like, and I see you, right? And you would think like, at first, the first couple of people I talk to, they're like, okay, what is this guy gonna do? Is this like Don Rickles? Is he gonna make fun of me? Is he gonna, am I safe here? But over time, they start to realize like, no, he just wants to see the best in me. He's trying to like get closer to me, So, and they just open up. I swear to God, it's like open sesame. When you do that to someone, when you say like, I'm not even a person. I'm Mr. Romantic. I'm this mythical character, and I'm trying to see you. Like what happens is people just go, you see me. Like, and I talk to old ladies, and I talk to big burly men, and I talk to like effeminate young men, and I talk to the beautiful women, like all these different people. Like, but each of them really feels like you're really seeing me. Like
It's a universal longing.
Yeah,
it's a
sincerity
universal
is
longing.
not.
Yeah.
It went out of fashion there for a while, but people really still love it. They love it
Oh no, man!
when they
This
can
is my
trust
whole
you.
currency with this show. This is the whole ball of wax.
Yeah.
Earnest, sincerity, love. I'm here for all of it. I'm here for all of it. We're back in the game. Round 2. Insights. Cards are blue. 1, 2, or 3.
2. Insights. Insights. This is
Insights. Yeah, your insights about yourself. When has envy been a problem for you?
I wish I could say it's never been a problem because I really don't find it to be a very noble attribute, envy. But if I'm honest, there were periods of my life as an actor where I thought, I made the mistake of comparing myself to another person's path. And we're all on a unique path. And I suddenly, after it was a few years of this, someone I knew very well and someone I loved a lot, and someone whose work I really respected, but it was driving me crazy that I wasn't on the same path as him. Like, why did he get that? I didn't, it makes me cringe to even admit this to you, but it's true, it's true.
Oh, no,
there were these small-minded moments, And then finally, like, I kind of emancipated myself from this thing by realizing, like, he will never be me, and I will never be him. And the only person I'm racing with is myself, racing with my own optimism or my own belief in myself. Like, even if I had that guy's path, I wouldn't have done it the way he did it,
No, it wouldn't. You wouldn't. It would all be different.
You know what else kind of absolved me of some of this too was being on the other side of the casting table, getting larger roles in movies and being part of the casting of the movie where you're trying to find, now we're trying to find someone
you have the power,
to
right?
play your wife or trying to find someone to play this part or whatever. Like, and so you see them come in and you think like, oh my God, I know how it feels to be that person where you think they're judging you.
Yeah, right.
Like there's something bad about what you're doing.
But there's so many other things going into the decisions that don't have anything to do with your particular talent. Yeah.
It's almost like they're mining for gold. It's not that, they're just looking for something. It's got nothing to do with you in a way. It's just like they have an idea what they're looking for. And if you match that idea, then you get the part. And if you don't match the idea, it doesn't mean that you're bad. It doesn't mean that you did something wrong. It doesn't mean that your intrinsic qualities are wrong or not good for acting. They're just different than what these people were hoping to find.
Yeah.
I want to say to anyone watching this, if you're feeling envious, figure out a way out of it because it will eat you alive and it will actually slow you down. If you're worried about the race and you think someone else is ahead of you in the race, having envy for that person will only make you go slower because it makes you less
Totally
creative
true.
and it makes you more angry and it makes you more
Totally
internal,
true.
like free yourself, love that
And you're
person.
trying to mimic them. Does that you've seized on what you think is one version of success that you're fixated on, and then you're not paying attention to what you creatively have to offer.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you look like me, you know what I mean? I don't look like a movie star. You know what I mean? I don't look
Mm.
like a matinee idol, and the temptation you could say like, well, who the hell am I? Like I'm this kind of homely looking whatever, or this whatever you want to call me. I don't feel like I'm homely, but I don't look like Brad Pitt. I don't look like Tom Cruise. But what the challenge is to understand your value. Like your uniqueness is your value.
Yeah.
The fact that I don't look like Brad Pitt actually is a good thing. It
That's
gives me
right.
value. It
That's
gives
right.
me something to it sets me apart.
Yeah, it
And
differentiates
that's true
you.
not just
Yeah.
for actors, but for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Next three. 1, 2, or 3.
3.
3. What emotion do you understand better than the others?
I think I understand empathy more than the others.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a Gemini. I'm an actor. I'm someone whose my whole life is spent trying to imagine what it's like to be in someone else's shoes,
Yeah, to be someone else.
So I understand, like, I can sit in a room and I can feel it's a little bit of a burden sometimes, honestly, because you feel like I almost wish like sometimes I could be more conceited and more oblivious to whatever. Because I've seen very successful people sometimes who are just like eyeing the prize, like.
Right. Or just be able to compartmentalize.
But I
Yeah.
look around a room and I'm like, oh, she's feeling like that. He's
Mhm.
feeling like that. Oh, he
Mhm.
thinks no one's noticing him. Like
Mhm.
I can feel it. So I don't know. Maybe that's true. I suppose it's a question for other people really who know me well to answer. But I think I understand empathy more than other emotions. But your job as an actor is also to understand all the emotions. You got to get yourself angry. You got to find a place to tap into anger. If you've got to feel like lustful or whatever, like you got to find your way to it.
Mhm. I heard you once say in like an interview situation that when Will Ferrell's when Will Ferrell swears, like says curse words, it's like always funny.
Yeah.
And when you try to do it, it always seems angry,
Right
like
away, it
because
sounds
there's just like
violent.
this
Like that guy's
anger.
gonna hit me. Like, yeah.
I don't know if I buy that. Do you feel like you also must understand anger because it's projecting in some theatrical way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And language is power. Like, I don't know how it is Will does that. Will is just inherently such a really, really kind-hearted, nice person that
Mhm.
it's almost like it doesn't make any sense when Will swears a blue streak, And it just, I'm telling you, it gets funnier and funnier and funnier. The more foul his language is, the funnier it gets. But me, I say fuck one time and it sounds like, I'm going to get in a fight or something. Anyway, Will is one of the all-time great artists I've ever worked with. He's someone who
Yeah, you guys have
he
something
can make
special.
things funny. Just I don't even know. I'm not sure he knows to tell you the truth. He can just say a simple phrase and make it funny. Like I know how to be sincere. Like I don't really consider
Yeah.
myself a comedian. Even though I do funny work and people laugh at things that I do, I consider myself like an actor first, and I understand how to be sincere and
Uh-huh.
connect with people. But just to make anything funny, that's like a really special skill that I think you're born with.
Yeah. Last one in this round. 1, 2, or 3.
3.
3. What's a quality you're drawn to that you don't possess?
I'm going to, I haven't done this yet. I'm going to turn this one back on you, Rachel.
Flip. I I think I've said this before. It's just so clear an answer for me. Like I am attracted to people who like to host, who like more people in their house. You know, like my door's always open. Come over anytime. Drop by. And like, I'm bringing 6 kids. Great. I love it. Bring them all. And we just all of a sudden, like the fishes and the loaves turns into like 45. Like Jesus has done a miracle. There's food for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm not that I'm like the opposite of that person. I get very nervous about hosting people. I don't think I'm very good at it. It just makes me anxious and I'm not relaxed. I'm not relaxed in it. And so, and I've always liked to control certain things. Like I like to be the person who goes to the party, have a good time, and then I can leave. But like if you're hosting, and what if people just keep staying at your house?
Could be worse. Could be worse.
Many things could be worse.
I like
if they left early because they thought I was boring. But I like an early bedtime, and I like to leave a party, and I love people who have an expansive social life, and that's
you love it enough. You love it, but you don't love it enough to want to actually be like it. Yeah,
but I try, and it just doesn't. I don't think it's a good time for anyone. Like I don't think me trying to host is enjoyable because I don't know. I should just
you gotta just let go of the responsibility. You know, you just provide the opportunity, and then what happens is what happens. You know, just what does everyone want to happen now? That's what happens. You know, like it's not on you just because you're hosting. You know, you're just providing the platform for it.
Yeah.
But I think maybe most people are uncomfortable being hosts, but you push through because it's important to bring people together. It's important. That's important. So you push past the uncomfortable part because it's important enough to do.
So I hear you saying that your answer to that question is somewhat similar.
God, I thought I got
right.
I forgot the rules, so I thought I got away with it. Just like make her say that. What's
a quality you don't possess but you appreciate it in other people?
Oh, paperwork. You know, that kind of organized lists, calendars, and that kind of thing. Like, I just keep everything in my head all the time. Like, you know, and I just go. I'm very instinctual with like how I order things in my head. Like, but my wife is an incredible organizer, producer. You know, like who can like make a bullet list and like, we do that and we tick that off, tick that off the thing. I just like. In fact, the one time I realized that my wife really loved me, it was long after we were married. I got audited by the IRS once, and I was like, I had no receipts. I had to create this whole fake, like, whatever. I had to go back and try
John!
Not fake. No, not fake. But, like, I had to remember why I rented that movie.
Yes.
Like literally every movie that I ever rented, why did I rent that movie and what were the tax purposes of renting that movie for the research on that project? You know, like I was just like in hell with papers and all this stuff around trying to like form a timeline for when I did this or that. And my wife sat down with me and she's like, all right, let's do this. Here we go. This is what we're going to do. This, and she's making decisions. She's making piles. She's making lists. And I looked at it, I was like, you really love me. You really do love me. Like, this is after like 12 years of marriage or something, by the way. Like,
yeah, man. That is love.
We've been married for 34 years now.
Wow. Congratulations. I hope you haven't had to go through another audit.
So not so far. And it turns out that audit was a no change. They're like, okay, fair enough. We got the wrong guy.
Okay, last round, beliefs. 1, 2, or 3?
1.
1. Is there anything in your life that has felt predestined?
You know, it'd be very romantic to say that when I met my wife, it was predestined. But honestly, I think things happen and then we react to them. Mm-hmm. And we create our destiny, I think. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm the kind of person who really likes to believe in endless possibilities, you know? My wife is much more practical. She'd be like, it's going to rain tomorrow, so we should not plan on kayaking. And I'm like, what do you mean? How do you know it's going to rain tomorrow? Because the weather forecast says 90% rain tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, but 10%. Like, let's not get rid of the kayaks yet. We couldn't, like, and so that's the place I live in, just like constantly. And she lives in a much more realistic place. But, yeah, so I don't like to believe that anything is predetermined. I like to think like, life is a series of choices. And then all of a sudden it looks like, oh, that was meant to be. But it usually doesn't feel like that until after it's already happened, in my experience.
3 new cards. 1, 2, or 3.
It's like Uno for adults. 2.
That's right. Do you think there's any part of us that lives on after we die?
Yes.
You do?
For sure. Yeah, because, I think I'm not so confident that I know. Do you know the mysteries of the human brain? Do you know?
I 1,000% do not.
Yeah, so do you understand the more metaphysical aspects of life? Do you understand?
I like to think about it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have certainty about any of it.
Yeah, so...
And I'm wary of people who do.
Yeah. Well, so my father died. My father died when I was 28 years old, relatively young. But I think about my father every single day. I'm 60 years old now. I think about my father every single day. Mm-hmm. Now, there's something, the echoes that we leave behind, I think, are just undeniable, And there's all kinds of near-death and people that have witnessed deaths that there's all kinds of stuff people say that points to the mystery, like... I think the night that my father died, I was off doing a film. I was on the other side of the country. I was laying in bed and I had a dream. In the dream, I was laying in like a rooming house. I was with my wife in a bed and we'd come in late into this rooming house and it was dark. And they were like, yes, there's a bed, but it's in the common room upstairs. Be quiet because everyone else is sleeping. So we went up there, we got into this bed and there's all these other beds in this room, this big wooden room. And we lay there and like, oh man, it's so late. We're so tired. I just have to fall asleep. And all of a sudden I hear rustling in the room. People are getting up. I'm like, oh my God, we got in here so late that now all these other people are waking up. And I'm trying to go to sleep. And I was kind of annoyed. And I was like, just keep your eyes closed. Don't open your eyes. Just keep your eyes closed. And eventually I could feel people right next to our bed, like going by. And I was like, what is going on? And I opened my eyes. And right in front of me was my father. And he was standing in this line of people, and the line was slowly moving like this. They were going out a door. And I was looking, and I remember like, oh my God, that's my dad. And I was staring at his face. And somehow I knew this is my last glimpse of him. Look at him now. Remember what his face looks like, and then he kept moving. And then the phone rang and woke me up from my sleep. And my wife came into the room and said, it's your sister, and handed me the phone. She said, Dad just went. What are the odds? My dad was very ill, but it wasn't like death watch, It wasn't like, he was not doing well, but it was no one was saying, get back to Chicago. He's going to go, It was just, And then the same night, my sister had a dream about my dad packing up his boat in Florida and ready to go and she was laying, same thing. She saw him outside the house getting ready to go on this voyage. And my aunt had another dream of departing somehow, like all three of us in different places in the world.
Yeah.
That's metaphysical. That's not just, I wasn't having dreams like that every night. I had that dream one time that night. So who are we to say with certainty there is nothing left of us afterwards, There's I don't know, like human beings are electrical beings, right? We're powered by electricity. Our heart, the impulse of a heart is an electrical organ, right? That electricity it's a field of energy,
Yeah.
It doesn't
go away.
I don't think it just disappears. Like that's my guess. Anyway.
That's an incredible story, John.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I
It's just,
mean,
I mean, and you could talk to anyone. I'm sure, like, I could bring 5 people in here just randomly, and they would all tell you
I
something
know.
like that.
I had dreams of my mom that were but it was after she died. And my father, they've both passed now. And there was a period of time right after they died when they felt very present in my consciousness. But I didn't have dreams that really, I mean, you were portending your dad's death. I mean, you saw
He
it
was
before it happened.
exiting, he
Or
was saying goodbye
concurrently.
or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So yeah, you are open. You are open to the possibility of things.
Yeah. Endless possibility. Even though if it says 90% rain tomorrow, you never know. Weather's like that.
Last question. 1, 2, or 3.
2.
What's your best defense against despair?
I really wish I knew. Because I struggle with depression, like actual depression, not just feeling sad, but like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel like I'm about to cry, but I'm not crying? Why can't I think of anything to do today? Why do I just want to sit here and, like, so the antidote to despair, well, actually, on a personal level, I'm not sure I have the antidote to despair other than connection with other people. That seems to like turn the tide eventually. Even if you don't feel like it, connecting somehow with someone outside of your brain. But, to go back to Mr. Romantic, the show, that show was born of both joy and despair. Like I was despairing for what was happening in the world, and that was my answer. Like that was the antidote, was connection, and so when I do that show, like, people ask me like, oh, does anyone ever like not cooperate when you talk to them? I'm like, no, they don't. Don't you get thrown off sometimes when someone says this or says that? It's like, no, because everything that happens, even if it's an uncomfortable interaction, even if it's not what you expected, even if it's awkward for a second, it's a chance to connect. To come together for some reason. So I think that might be the antidote to despair is connection. Because when I think of despair, I think of isolation and being alone and feeling hopeless and just, feeling like I'll never escape. But when you reach out, I talked about my wife a little bit earlier, but she's also someone who just like indefatigably optimistic. She's the kind of person who gets up like, well, I might not be feeling so great either today, but let's go. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And that's someone who's like on a regular basis brings me out of despair just by example, like, well, I should just start doing something, like I should try to connect. Yeah. So connection, I think, is the antidote for despair.
John C. Reilly, we end our show the same way every time, with a trip in our memory time machine.
All right.
Okay. In the memory time machine, you revisit one moment from your past. It's not a moment you want to change anything about. It's just a moment you'd like to linger in a little longer. Which moment do you choose?
Well, I don't know if this is going to be a specific moment. It's not a specific moment. I'll just say that. It's time with my parents, If I could extend that, I would extend that. Because my father died when he was 59, and my mother died in her early 70s, and I think like I'm older than my father was when he passed away now. And the other day I was looking in the mirror and I was thinking like, wow, this guy that you think about every day, that you've looked up to for so long, that was the voice of wisdom and seniority in your life. That guy in the mirror is older than that guy.
Yeah.
And that was an intense moment for me, because some part of you, like, I don't know if you feel this way, but like when my dad died at that age, I thought like, well, that's the example. And now I'm kind of in the gravy period,
Yeah,
I got past that moment. Like, Wow, aren't I lucky? But yeah, if I could extend it, I would love to see my dad. I would love to. I was still somewhat of a boy, I would say, when my dad died, and that was one of the gifts of my dad dying. Was that the king is dead, long live the king. Like, I realized, like, I can really be the man I want to be. Like, I'm not comparing myself to him.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for his approval. He's not here, like. But
you can be whoever you want in your mind.
I find myself thinking, like, I really wish, I had a really beautiful, loving relationship with my mom. My relationship with my dad was more formal. He was just a more kind of patriarchal character.
Yeah.
And so I would love more time with both of them, but especially my dad, because I would love to have gotten past, because I know what I'm like now, this age, like, I'm not admitting weakness. I'm not admitting the decay of my body. I'm still the bad motherfucker I ever was, like, and my dad was that when he died, and I would have loved to see my dad mellow into the humility of old age with me and see him, because what happens is that my mother-in-law is 88 and her partner is 84. And so I do have people of those ages in my life, and like, wow, what a humbling thing, what a beautiful thing to watch someone in a way kind of return to a childlike state. That is what happens when we get that old, And it would have been a beautiful thing to see my dad become someone that that I was in charge of caring for.
May I ask, is there a specific, like, where are you? What is the scene? You don't have to give me a specific moment, but where do you place him in your mind's eye when you remember him? What's he doing?
He was on a boat. Yeah.
On a boat?
Yeah, my dad loved boats. He loved to fish on the Great Lakes in the Midwest and then down in Florida, where he eventually went when he was older. But yeah, that was where my dad felt most free. And I sail now, so that is, I have that similar feeling. I don't like to fish. I don't. If I need fish, I go to the store. But I love to be on water and feel that separation from Earth. It just feels like you're kind of untethered for a moment, and you're part of some larger thing when you're out there on the water. And I know that my dad felt that freedom. So yeah, when I imagine him, that was his happy place.
Yeah. John C. Reilly, it has been such a pleasure. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, likewise.
You can see John in his stage show, Mr. Romantic, and you can hear him on his album, What's Not to Love. Thank you. It has been so fun to talk with you. If you like this episode, and I hope you did, you can drop us a comment and let us know. We love hearing from you, truly. You can also like the video and subscribe to the channel to get more from Wildcard.